6 win.
Indeed it is, and the countdown has begun to get ready for the second game. I'm excited for this one, and Nada, it would be a disaster if he lost this game, because, I mean, he has to go against Nighten, which, you know, a great player, and also Hey Pro, who he's actually lost to before in the past, so...
Well, Hey Pro is actually ripping it up against him, I've got to say. And Hey Pro is also taking games from Koreans now on a more regular basis. You may remember the Bomber series, in fact. I think I cast that one at DreamHack. But, yeah, Hey Pro took a game from him, and he almost took the second one. It was really close. So I think Hey Pro's got a really good shot of maybe taking a series from Nada, in fact. And I bring you the one and only Nada. He is in the blue trunks, and he is playing Terran to the southeast versus his opponent, the one and only Elfi, now 1-up in this best-of-3 series. He is playing Protoss to the southwest.
So the typical standard style on this map is to go for a very, very early expansion, simply because it's such a large map that aggression doesn't really benefit as much on large maps compared to small ones, clearly. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Elfi going for some form of 1-gate expo. But then again, I mean, that execution push was so well timed. I wouldn't be surprised if he did something similar again in this game.
Yeah, I mean, from what I heard about Elfi, it was mostly he's one of those 1 to 2 base aggression Protoss players. He actually plays in a fairly similar style to Bling, except he tends to go for Colossus just a little bit more, and he will 4-gate when he thinks it's advantageous, and there's nothing wrong with that. So I don't really expect Elfi to go into a macro game against Nada. I don't think that's a very smart thing to do. So I would, if I were Elfi, I'd probably try and end it in the first 15 minutes.
And the one advantage if he did go for a similar style again, if you look at, you know, Nada's natural, the Colossus with Thermal Lance are going to be able to rain a lot of damage, taking out the refinery, you know, a few SCVs here and there. So that could potentially be pretty hard for Nada to defend, depending on how he decides to play this game out. And it's a pretty funny APM bar right there.
Yeah, Nada is pumping things up just a little bit, right? Wow. Okay, looks like you're getting Windows updates. That's not ideal. So I think you're going to have to cast off my screen for the rest of this one, I'm afraid.
So this great Asus laptop in front of me, the new G7 4S.
It needs its updates. It must feed.
It needs its updates, babe, so it's just turned off.
Yep, that's unfortunate. Well, you can cast from my screen, bro. I will share with you. I care about you that much. Either that or I'll just leave you to guess, or you have to turn around and look at the projection screen, which would be a little bit weird. Whatever the case, we will be back into the game momentarily.
Dude, Nada does not look impressed.
No, I can't imagine he would. Honestly, I really, really can't. So we can blame this one on.
Hey, you can't blame it on me. It's just the name. It's not me counting down.
Blame it on the boogie.
All right.
Sounds like a plan. Right. Well, you'll be out of this game momentarily. So once that has happened, hopefully the admins have actually let people know that they can just vote Apollo out because we don't care about him anymore. Do I get a vote? No, I don't.
Just go straight into it. It's fine.
Never mind. You're seriously not going to cast this while turned around, are you?
I don't know. I can do both.
Here we go. There. So you can see from there. You're fine. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. You're going to deal with my terrible observing, but we'll deal with that.
Okay.
Okay. Right, so Nada is building 2 barracks, and he does have a gas. So what would you expect?
I'm going to just say a reactor.
There you go. The thing is, the reactor was already down, so I think you're cheating, but we'll go with that nonetheless. So the question is he going for some kind of big marine play early on, or is he building that for something else?
Well, it can be anything. I mean, I don't really know Nada's style that well to be like, all right, he's going to do exactly this. So it can mean a couple of things. He can go for a lot of aggression early on. Usually, when you see the reactor like this, it's a different variety of 2 racks pressure. So the tech labs should go down on the second barracks now, and he will continue like normal. Do a little bit of pressure, but very marine heavy, and then expand behind that.
Okay, that sounds pretty reasonable to me. I'm going down right there, and let's go and have a look and see what Elfi's doing. It's going to boost on the Cybernex core, not necessarily indicative of anything, but he's cut probes at 20. So that is extremely indicative of 1, 2, 3. So
right.
An aggressive 4-gate right here from Elfi. And now, he is known for a really well-executed 4-gateway play. And to be honest, if I was going up against Nada, I'd probably do exactly the same thing if I wanted to win this series.
It's a smart decision, I think, on this map to do this. You're 1 game ahead, even if it's 4-gate and it is defendable.
Yes.
The point is that you've got a game advantage over Nada. If you can secure a win like this through aggression early on,
do it.
Do it.
And if it fails, you've still got a game to play.
Exactly.
That's the main thing. This is the psychology of the best of 3, and it gets way more complicated if you go through to the best of 7. Now, Nada does have this, and he's not going to get stimmed for this push. Are you scared?
Well,
Do you think
I'm scared for Nada,
Yeah.
and I'm also happy for Elfi if he goes 2-0 against Nada. But I don't think Nada can defend this at the moment.
Well, he hasn't got stim. He has no bunker down. He doesn't have any scouting information. He actually has no idea because it was aggressively denied. So, yeah, Nada is actually in a bit of trouble here. It's going to have to come down to some fairly legendary micro.
It depends on the composition that comes out. So if it is going to be very stalker heavy, he's going to have an easy time because he can target fire a couple of Marauders and then go to town on the Marines. But at the same time, Nada still does have a lot of units out.
Nada, they're very quick, very quick, and going right back in there. It takes a stalker out. Now, remember, it's not the first wave of the 4-gate that's the dangerous one. It's the second one that comes in after that. Once he adds 4 more, and he's going to use a Zealot composition this time around to tank some good damage and allow the Stalkers to actually open fire. I'm very surprised, extremely surprised, not to see a bunker right now. I really am. I would have thought
he's feeling confident with the units, and he actually has a lot of units out now. If he spreads them out nice and thin, he should be okay. I mean, you can look at the worker supply, he's doing good. Oh, pylon go down.
He's been flanked. It's a shame Elfi didn't go for the base right there. He could have perhaps done some damage. Admittedly, he would have been crushed in the base. Nonetheless, he actually had an opportunity to flank his opponent. He doesn't really want to fight there. That is not a good position.
There's so many units out. And what Nada's done, instead of just being like, all right, 2-Rex Expo, he's actually left the Expo for a long time. Realized the threat and the potential from this 4-gate, and he's like, I'm just going to invest all my money in units for now, and then I'm going to expand behind this. And as you can see now in the unit tab, is that Elfi has to fall back on this. And you look at the supply tab and you're like, well, Nada's pretty far ahead.
29 to 22.
So Elfi was trying to, kind of gambling a little bit on the fact that Nada would go for a very fast expansion once again. But obviously Nada changing up the style a little bit gave him a nice position in this game now.
Yeah, very, very patient play there by Nada, and of course the kind of experience and game sense that we would expect from someone of that caliber. And now it's expansion time for both. However, the economic advantage firmly in the favor of Nada. Indeed, I believe he even has a very strong unit composition. I think if he actually pushed now, he could probably win it, even without stim. So he's going to go for it anyway. Elfi is stuck on 50 supply. Nada is already on 71, and he might end up maybe getting supply blocks. He hasn't started a supply depot yet, but it doesn't really matter all that much.
What units does Elfi have, though?
Elfi is sitting on that unit composition, so I would think force fields are going to have to be pretty good to throw this back.
You might need more than force fields to defend against this.
Well,
and the thing is, he can pressure now. At the same time, he's got stim in the background, so he doesn't necessarily need to go in now.
No.
And he can just wait for stim. He's so far ahead in terms of SCVs. I'm going to guess he's got like an 8 SCV lead or whatever. Okay, so it's not that high. But still, with the mule, it's pretty good, and especially when he gets the second orbital command. He's gone for a nice early factory off this 2-Rex, getting the starport out as well. Going to be able to get medivacs out there and start really putting the pressure down once those medivacs are out.
Yep, drop play and all sorts of things like that, always good, and needless to say, the Marine Marauder medivac pressure with stim, extremely powerful. And Elfi, we've just seen going into a macro-heavy style at the moment. He needs to get back on, and it looks like this is actually going to transition into some kind of 6-gateway pressure play. The problem is, as you've pointed out, Elfi seems to be really lax in the upgrade department. Like, he just does not care about upgrades. And against Marine Marauder Medivac, unupgraded gateway units, they don't tend to do that well.
No, they don't. So, I mean, he's going to have to try to transition from this. The fact that there's so many units out for Nada already, he's literally, the barracks have not turned off their lights. They've been working consistently. And now these two medivacs that come out, that's where it gets complicated for Elfi, because he's going to have to, kind of fight against medivacs, and literally the units will not die. Stim has completed now as well, and like you said, it's sole gateway units against this really, really nicely, composition really of the army here. It's very, very Marauder heavy. It's got decent sized Marines, so it's going to be difficult here.
It's going to be extremely difficult, and I really do question Elfi's decision to push out at this point. I think maybe he thinks he can start to apply pressure. The problem is he's actually going to get supply blocked here. He's got a pylon coming in, but his supply count is way lower than it needs to be. He does have the option to retreat. He's got a lot of force fields available, so if he goes for this and then realizes, then this might end up being good. But the thing is, I mean, that was a good engagement to start off there. Good force fields have actually blocked off most of the fire there. He's able to divide and conquer, which is really what he had to do in order to win this. But there's a big, big drop coming in. He bypasses that. The bunker is now shot to pieces, but I would think Elfi still might want to retreat from this because Nada has now broken that force field, but he does have reinforcements streaming, and that's a further 5 units coming in. 4 stalkers from the flank. However, Nada just crushed it. Elfi GG's, ladies and gentlemen, and it's now 1 apiece in this best of 3 series.